Brought to you by Aaron Saxon Associates.
Right now at 5, police in Neosho, Missouri are searching for a suspect in a shooting that happened Tuesday.
And we've got another foggy start out there and rain rolling into the area. Take a look at that forecast, get you out the door, coming up.
Plus, we'll learn the next steps for the Carthage City Council after they postponed the decision to censor one of its members.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is really, at this point, we could have just recorded the weather from yesterday or even the day before and played it again today because it is just about the same.
Yes, it is.
This time, though, it was the fog was denser on the Kansas side.
Really?
So it was, at least for me, when I got here, I had to slow down and pay close attention to where the station was. But we've got one light out there. It's this bright orange light. And that was kind of my beacon. It's like brighter than all the other lights. So that's how I knew.
Just follow the light.
Exactly. Exactly. In this case, you wanted to go into the light so you could find where you need to go to work. We talked about that yesterday. I don't think that employers would really accept the excuse of I couldn't find the office as a reason you didn't go to work today. So you're going to have to just get through this. Remember, though, slow down. Use your low beams, not your high beams. We actually have a number of tips, information related to the legalities of using your headlights during the fog on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Our Cameron Cornell Complex downtown. Fog not super dense this morning. Now, when I left in Joplin, it was a little thicker than this, but it's improved slightly, but it won't last very long. Just a quick look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. There are some scattered showers out there, and then we will eventually see more showers begin to roll in from the south and southwest with our next batch of rain. Fog tracker showing, again, majority of locations reporting about a mile or less in visibility across the area. And we've got fog advisories across the entire region. Similar to yesterday, Missouri, Kansas, they run through noon. Oklahoma, Arkansas, this morning they run until 9 instead of 10. So do keep that in mind. And similar to a couple of days ago, we've got fog advisories from the Canadian border to central Texas, from eastern Colorado to western New York. That's how expansive the fog is across the country this morning. We're sitting at 41 in Joplin, 38 in Pittsburgh. You can see on the KDOT camera, it actually looks better than when I got here this morning, but it's not going to last very long. 42 when the kids get on the bus. We'll have those showers and a calm breeze out there by the time that bus brings them home. Foggy conditions, mostly cloudy. Some of us may see a few peaks of sunshine. Temperatures right around 44 with a west breeze 5 to 10. As we go through today, we'll have the rain through about the noon, 1 o'clock hour, and then that'll clear out. And then again, some of us will see a few peaks of sun. We'll still deal with some patchy fog out there. And temperatures, again, similar to yesterday, right around the mid-40s. We have another look at your forecast and talk about the potential for that 4-letter S word that nobody wants to hear that could be coming in on Saturday here in just a few more minutes. Amber?
Thanks, Chris. Police in Neosho, Missouri are searching for a suspect in a shooting. It happened around 7:30 Tuesday at the 800 block of Riverside Drive. When officers arrived, they were told a man, 40-year-old Freddie Rodriguez of Neosho, was found in the street with a gunshot wounds in his left arm and armpit. He was then located at the hospital in stable condition. Authorities say the suspect shooter is 21-year-old Jose Rivera, who's also from Neosho. They say Rivera and Rodriguez know each other, and Rivera ran after the shooting. A warrant has been issued for Rivera's arrest. A Baxter Springs, Kansas man will spend 50 years behind bars for child sex crimes. A judge yesterday sentenced 40-year-old Jeremy Strout to 50 years in prison. In November, Strout was convicted of 3 counts of rape and 1 count of aggravated indecent liberties with a child. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly yesterday announced recipients of the latest round of grants from the Historic Economic Asset Lifeline, or HIL program. The program helps revitalize downtown buildings. 5 Southeast Kansas organizations received funds. Nearly $51,000 are going to Chanute Regional Development Authority. Cities of Columbus and Parsons get $100,000 each. Girard Main Street is getting $10,000, and Independence Chamber of Commerce gets $100,000. Carthage City Council members are planning to discuss the proposed resolution to censor one of its members in the next meeting on February 13th. The decision is to delay the discussion was made at Tuesday night's meeting. The council member at the center of the discussion is Tiffany Causey. KOAM's Fernanda was at the meeting.
The council meeting to decide whether Tiffany Causey would be censured was a busy one, with all seats taken. In the agenda, the discussion about Causey was scheduled to be a closed session. Causey and some residents argued that the council should have the discussion on the resolution open to the public, but it was kept as a closed session.
This is illegal under the laws of Missouri.
Our legal opinion disagrees with that.
In an interview before the meeting, City Administrator Greg Degnan explained his perspective on the reason behind the decision.
There are city employees involved and there was an HR investigation, and so that is protected. However, because she is not an employee of the city, because she is an elected official, any censure or discipline for any council member always has to be done in a public setting.
For Causey, the decision to go to a closed session is questionable.
I'm pretty sure that that is illegal. So because there is an employee involved, it may fall into a gray area. But when a council person, I am not an employee, and when a council person is being censured, that type of thing is supposed to be open to the public.
Just after 10 p.m., once the closed session was over, council members voted to table the censure until next meeting.
Ample time to prepare a response.
I've only had about 31 hours notice to prepare for this type of thing. And in there I had to find time to sleep and go to work 2 times. So I've had almost no time to prepare, and I feel that it would have been unfair for them to have continued with the resolution tonight.
Before the meeting, Causey explained her perspective on why the resolution is being proposed.
A lot of the complaints were that I invited citizens to come to meetings, that I thanked them for coming, I thanked them for participating. A couple of times in the list of complaints was that I advised people to call City Hall or call their council person.
There's a HR complaint or human resources complaint that led to a very large investigation that is causing it. I really can't share that because it is protected by our HR policies, but that is what initiated this.
According to Degnan, a censure is an opinion of the council, that they disagree with the councilperson's action, but that doesn't remove the member from the council. We tried reaching out to all the council members and the mayor before and after the meeting, but only 2 answered their phones and said that they had no comments. KOAM spoke to some Carthage residents to hear their thoughts after the meeting.
I thought that it should be an open meeting. I thought that they should be able to talk about it, and they chose not to. I think there again, we don't have clarity, we don't have honesty, we don't know what was said, so usually if you don't know, your mind goes to it probably wasn't good.
I feel like the citizens stood up for what's right. They're demanding transparency and ethics to our city council. We support the First Amendment. We feel like our voice has been silenced so much, and this is just the latest step in silencing the voices of the citizens and people working for the citizens to ensure transparency.
In Carthage, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
You can read the full story with more detail at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in your first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Lions try to prove that they're worth the #1 spot in the MIAA, but can they keep this up? Plus, a train headed for Prague collided with a truck in Eastern Czech Republic. We have the details. And rain chances continue for today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Center Express Care open from 9 to 5 every weekend and most major holidays.
To make yourself feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive.
Well, Missouri Southern women's basketball entered the night as the top team in the MIAA. With that comes a big target on your back. Last night, Lions trying to prove they are worthy of that #1 spot. Missouri Southern riding a 10-game winning streak, playing host to Northeastern State. Lions come out of the gates red hot. Couple minutes into the first quarter, Caitlin Honeycutt connects on a triple. That puts the Lions up 14-2. And they're not done yet. Couple of minutes later, Ryan Franklin hits an 18-footer to put Southern up 19-4. We'd hear a lot more from her. Still in the first, Honeycutt from three again. Lions take a 22-6 lead. Northeastern State comes back a little in the second. Here's Franklin again from a similar spot as before. Southern goes into halftime with a 5-point lead. Into the third, Lions rolling again. Franklin down low, gets the shot and the foul. Southern leading by 14. And then Franklin to Brandy Hudson. Back to Franklin. She finishes with a game-high 23 points. The Lions coast to an 11th consecutive victory, 72-44 over Northeastern State.
We did a great job of finding the man that's open. We didn't take very many tough shots. All of them were good looks, wide open. And it's nice to watch our kids play together, making that extra pass.
Second game of the night, Missouri Southern men's hoops facing Northeastern State early in the first half. Avery Taggart, the nice crossover. That gets him to the rim for two. Game tied at 4, 8 minutes in. We get a nice backdoor cut from Taggart and the finish. Lions down by 3. Now Southern down by 6, and Winston Desiso hits the step back triple. Lions now within 3, but the Riverhawks had the answer all night. Trey Kortelbaum finds Anthony Allen for the easy 2. Then Kortelbaum left open from 3. And that's good. Lions down by 13. Lead cut to 11 before he connects on another 3. Lions trailed by 16 at half and could never come all the way back. Northeastern State wins it by 7. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, the Gorillas men's and women's basketball teams are each at home with a combined 5-game losing streak, hoping the Pitt State fans can help spur a turnaround. PSU women's basketball taking on Rogers State. Diving past her defender, Macy Mays scoops the layup in for 2. Those are the first points of the game. Later, first quarter, Grace Pyle with a smooth backdoor cut to get the open lay for 2 and put Pitt State up by 1. Couple possessions later, Pyle to the middle, foul, and one more for good measure. Gorillas up 1 until Hillcats' Aliza Knapp wide open. Nothing but bottoms. Puts Rogers State on top on the other end. Mays once more for the inside, on the inside rather, for the Gorillas score, and that'll make it a tie game. Pitt State up by 3. The ball gets poked away to the ready hands of Pitt State's Alba Lozano Davila, who converts from close range. Final seconds of the quarter, Emma Martin knocks down the 3 ball. She's fired up. Gorillas go on to win big, 82-48, the final score. Pitt State men's hoops at home against Rogers State. Hillcats' Rodney Battle with the nice fake and under to get himself open for a mid-range 2. Those are the first points of the night. Game tied a minute later. Drive by Jordan Friesen, who kicks it out to R.J. Forney Jr., who knocks it down the long ball, keeping the follow-through. Gorillas down 2 midway through the half. Friesen with the distribution to Marquis English, who's alone in the paint for the easy 2. Isaac Johnson, swarmed by Gorillas, fights his way for the tough bucket. Jordan Friesen changing it up with some scoring to go along with his assists for the evening. Anthony Marshall Jr. dishes to the inside to Caden Fry, fumbles, gathers, and scores for the Hillcats. They lead by 4. Max Alexander diving into the lane all the way up for the Gorillas. Tanae Prichter with authority, but the Gorillas come up short again. Rogers State wins by 9. Still to come, we'll see why a new study says playing video games can cause hearing loss. Plus, a check of the 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
The recipe to making a great partnership.
First, take a super NBA games. Under Friday night, see the schedule at KOAMNewsNow.com.
Come hungry to the SEK Humane Society's Chili Dinner Sunday, February 11th.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:19 now on this Thursday morning, and we've got fog once again. Now, not as dense in the metro area as it was yesterday morning, but we're still dealing with dense fog across the area. MoDOT cameras around the city also showing you can see the fog off in the horizon, but it is expected to thicken up a bit as we go through the morning. And here in just a moment, when this camera loads up, this is the KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh. Looks a lot better than yesterday. So actually, right now at least, we're doing better in terms of the fog, but these conditions not expected to last very long out there, so be prepared. Visibility tracker across the area. We're starting to see some improvements in some locations, but there's still a lot of locations at or below 1 mile visibility. And we have another round of dense fog advisories for all of us. Now, ones in Kansas and Missouri went back into effect yesterday right before noon and will continue through noon today. Oklahoma and Arkansas, these ones will run through 9 a.m. today, where over the past couple of days they've been running till 10. Now they're going to expire at 9. We do have some showers out there as well on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, and of course between the showers and the drizzle, which I ran some pretty heavy drizzle on the way up here, that doesn't help the visibility at all. And we've got more rain that's going to be coming in from the south and west as we go through the morning before we see it taper off this afternoon. All right, 41 in Joplin, calm breeze out there, so of course it feels like 41, and our dew point is 40. Remember what we talked about yesterday? Your dew point and temperature are the same. You get 100% humidity, so since they're 1 point off, 96% humidity. And that's enough to drive some pretty dense fog across the area. Temperatures kind of variable in the mid to upper 30s, and we do have some low 40s as you head a little further south and east across the area. As we go down the road, again, we'll have those showers roll through, and by about the noon hour, the last of these will be exiting, but you can see there's still quite a few of them. As we head into the evening, mostly cloudy skies. So some of us may see a few peaks of sun. Others may not see much in the way of sunshine at all. We head into our Friday. After we get through the morning rain and into the early afternoon, we're going to have a bit of a dry spell before we see additional showers start to roll in by Friday evening across the area, and these will continue into our Saturday. So that is the four-letter S word that nobody wants to hear that we are looking at as a possibility as we go into our Saturday. So there's some good news, there's some bad news. This is based on temperatures, and where we're going to be sitting with moisture is very likely going to be a heavy wet snow, which means it's going to come down pretty good. That's the bad news, because that can impact driving, your visibility. The good news is thanks to the warm temperatures that we've had and the fact they're still going to be relatively warm, comparatively warm, while it's snowing, this snow will mainly accumulate on the grass. So we're looking at primarily accumulations on grassy surfaces, but those grassy surfaces could pick up an inch or so of snowfall as we head into Saturday. As for today, foggy, showers, low 40s once again heading into the late morning, mid-upper 40s for our highs today, and we'll get a break from the rain, some peaks of sun. We'll still be dealing with the fog through the afternoon and into the evening hours again, and overnight, another round of patchy fog, so we'll probably have another round of fog advisories out there. As we look down the road, we're going to be in the mid-50s tomorrow. 40s Saturday, Sunday. We warm back up next week. Look at Wednesday hitting 60 degrees with some additional shower chances next Tuesday. That's Check Your Forecast. We will be back with Health Watch right after this.
Dear Winter.
Pittsburgh's Meals on Wheels. Nutritious meals delivered to your door with a side of smiles. Sign up for Pittsburgh's Meals on Wheels today.
Topping Health Watch this morning. If you play video games, you might want to listen up because new research says you could be at risk of hearing loss. According to a study published Tuesday in the journal BMJ Public Health, gamers' average sound levels often exceeded healthy sound exposure limits, and the longer the exposure, the higher the risk. Researchers looked at data from 54,000 adults and children. It showed those who play games regularly at a higher risk for both hearing loss and tinnitus, a condition that causes a ringing in the ears. They also found listening to video games through headphones is common, putting loud volumes closer to the ears. Hearing loss is permanent, so experts urge prevention. They say you can monitor volume with an app that measures sound or keep volume no higher than 60% of the maximum. Also, don't forget to take breaks. It's the most common type of dementia, according to the National Institutes of Health. A new study suggests a simple blood test that screens for Alzheimer's disease may be a step closer to reality. Researchers say the test showing high accuracy in detecting the disease early. Manny Gaither has more on the new potential screening tool and why a doctor calls the test very promising.
When it comes to Alzheimer's, the earlier the detection of the disease, the better.
Maybe change the trajectory and progression of disease better in earlier stage.
Geriatric medicine specialist Dr. Babette Tusi with Cleveland Clinic says early detection also allows patients to plan for the future. In a new study, researchers say a simple blood test has high accuracy in not only detecting Alzheimer's, but catching the disease even before symptoms begin to show. The test screens for a type of protein called phosphorylated tau or p-tau.
It shows that very promising, that correlates how likely somebody has this abnormal high level of p-tau in the blood may have those amyloid plaques in the brain.
Tusi says this test is much less invasive, less expensive, and potentially more accessible than traditional screening tools, which could get those at high risk for the disease help earlier.
This one is more tailored, more customized, and people have better understanding if we really have heading to our Alzheimer's direction, or if it's not and it's negative, it has its own value to explore other alternate for cognitive changes.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The test used in the new study is a commercially available tool. It's currently available for research use only, but researchers say it's expected to be available for clinical use soon. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves another foggy start across the area. We'll have a complete look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Doctor and started Botox sooner. So ask your doctor if Botox is right for you. Learn how AbbVie could help you save on Botox.
Right now at 5:30, Joplin business owners came together for the annual Business Expo.
And we've got some dense fog building in once again across the area, as well as some additional rain chances. We're going to have a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, yesterday was National Change a Pet's Life Day. We'll hear from a local pet hospital dealing with overpopulation.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's another foggy day.
Yes, it is.
It's a copy and paste kind of day. I mean, the temperatures are going to be similar. The conditions outside are going to be similar. It's a pretty straightforward situation, but we do again want to emphasize you got to drive safely in the fog,
yes,
especially with the wet roadways. That's the contributing factor here is that gives increases your stopping distance because the roads are still wet. We got drizzle, we got the fog, we got wet roadways, and as we've been reminding you, use your low beams, not your high beams, and as the fog continues into the afternoon, you still need to have your headlights on. We've got information on the legalities of headlight use during fog on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. So make sure you're in compliance. You don't want to get pulled over for something so silly as I didn't turn my headlights on in the fog. But it can create dangers to other drivers and to you. MoDOT cameras around the area again showing some of that fog starting to thicken up again around the area. We also have some showers out there on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, and we'll see more showers. There they are, right down the Will Rogers Turnpike heading into Oklahoma City and eastern Oklahoma, and more out to the west. And you can see the rotation on these as they're going to roll into the area. And these will stick with us for a little bit today before we'll get a brief dry spell. Visibilities around the area, again, most of us at or below 1 mile of visibility, and that includes a number of major highways around the area. And we have those dense fog advisories once again through noon today for Kansas and Missouri, and through 9 a.m. for Oklahoma and Arkansas. It is 41, fog increasing in Joplin, 38 in Pittsburgh. KDOT cameras still looking good visibility-wise, but this, again, won't last for long. Kids getting on the bus, dealing with the fog, dealing with some rain, low 40s out there with a calm breeze. That bus brings them back home. No real change in the fog, maybe not as dense, but it'll still be there this afternoon. Maybe even a few peaks of sun for some of us. West breeze 5 to 10 and 44. We're looking at mid-upper 40s for highs. We're going to have to contend with that fog again through the afternoon and evening hours, and the rain should wrap up about 1 o'clock today. Then we've got the potential for snow. Yeah, I'm sorry, but we do have the potential for snow. We're going to talk about all of that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Amber?
Thank you, Chris. January 24th is Change a Pet's Life Day. According to the American Kennel Club, yesterday was a day to encourage people to adopt from shelters and raise awareness about animals in need. They also say that there are more ways to change a pet's life than just adopting, including fostering animals, volunteering at local shelters, and providing donations. Parsons Pet Hospital is just one of the organizations in our area encouraging residents to adopt rather than shop for their next four-legged friend.
And meet these animals. Bring your family, bring your pets. It's always wonderful for pets to get to know each other kind of on neutral ground. I learned the hard way, you don't bring a stray dog, a strange dog home when you've got a dog already that's going to say no. So meet on neutral ground, get to know them, and you can foster. We always recommend fostering.
The Parsons Pet Hospital is currently at a high volume and encourage anyone wanting to adopt to come out and fill out an application. Well, it's police versus the fire department in the Battle of the Badges in Pittsburgh. The two departments are competing in the annual chili cook-off with the American Red Cross. People donating blood yesterday and today can both try both types of chili, then vote for their favorite. Organizers say the event has brought more than 100 sign-ups for donations. The fire and police departments both say the competition is heating up.
Ours is better because we put so much time into it. Like I said, it's a smokehouse chili. It's something a little different. It's not just your average chili.
I believe we're going to bring it home again this year. We kind of change it up a little bit each year, who makes the chili. You know, around the fire station, there's lots of recipes floating around. Everybody has their own secret.
The winner of the Battle of the Badges will receive a 2024 trophy once all the votes are counted. The public yesterday got the chance to know some Joplin businesses better. The Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce held its 31st annual Business Expo. It started Tuesday evening with a business after hours event for local entrepreneurs to network. Then this morning, business owners had a chance to check out all the booths set up. The public was allowed to explore the expo starting at noon, learning about all the area has to offer.
We continue to see growth. We continue to sell out every year for the Business Expo, and we see new businesses. We're always seeing new businesses participate in Expo, but we also have our regulars that come back every year, which we appreciate.
This is the 31st year of the Business Expo. A Miami nonprofit is asking the community for help. The Community Crisis Center helps those who have been affected by domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking. Their resources include a 24-bed shelter in Miami. The center is asking the community's help with their growing need for women's undergarments, including socks, bras, and underwear in all sizes.
Oklahoma is #1 in the nation for rates of domestic violence, so our state is at crisis levels. We are continuing to grow our service numbers, so it's really important that these services are accessible. They're 24/7, and that's something that we rely on for the community, is helping meet the needs of the people coming to stay with us.
Any donations can be dropped off at the Community Crisis Center Advocacy Building in Miami. That's a look at our top stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Protesters rally in Jerusalem for the release of hostages held by Hamas. Plus, in the Red Sea, Iran-backed Houthi militants continue to attack commercial ships. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Proud partner of Travis Kelce and his foundation, 87 and running.
Topping World Watch, discussions about legislation to address the border crisis are said to be in the final stages, but there is increasing concerns over whether Democrats actually want an agreement. Senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram is on Capitol Hill with the latest.
Senate conservatives scorching a still concealed border security package.
This could cause as many problems as it solves.
We're asking the questions. We're not getting the answers.
One of the gentlemen under the interstate living in a refrigerator box knows more about it than I do.
Texas Republican Ted Cruz slammed Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell for even fostering border talks.
Sadly, Mitch McConnell's enemies are conservatives in the Senate and House Republican leadership.
House Speaker Mike Johnson opposes the Senate package. Cruz accused the Senate GOP brass of, quote, waging war on the Speaker, aligning instead with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Republican leadership is like Charlie Brown with Lucy and the football. And over again, they run for the football, and over again, Lucy Schumer pulls it away.
Democrats worry that the right might kill the bill, even before there is a bill.
Attempts to sabotage negotiations before they even finish must be shunned by the membership of this body.
Other Republicans are bewildered that their colleagues would undermine lead GOP border negotiator James Lankford of Oklahoma.
For anybody to think that James Lankford, from a ruby red state, with the subject matter expertise that he has on the border, is going to do something soft, it is beyond my comprehension.
Some Republicans say Democrats are desperate for a border pact.
I think President Biden has every reason in the world to want a deal here. It's a nightmare for him.
Other conservatives believe the border talks are just a facade to score money for Ukraine.
People across the United Kingdom could be seeing some big changes in their mail delivery. Royal Mail is now considering a number of measures to save money, and that includes cutting letter deliveries to 3 days a week. The move will let Royal Mail save nearly $828 million a year. Regulators say the current mail system is out of date and unsustainable since people are sending fewer letters and getting more packages. British lawmakers would have to make approval to any changes to the delivery schedule. A train headed for Prague collides with a truck in eastern Czech Republic. Authorities say Wednesday's collision left the driver of the train dead and at least 19 others with non-life-threatening injuries. Police don't know why the truck was on the track, but they say there will be an investigation into the matter. Protesters rallied in Jerusalem for the release of hostages held by Hamas. Hundreds of demonstrators chanted and carried pictures of hostages Wednesday, demanding the Israeli government to reach a deal to free them at the end of the war. The protest comes as Qatar has communicated to Israel that Hamas is temporarily delaying all further talks about an outline for those hostages deal. The hostages have been in captivity for 110 days. In the Red Sea, Iran-backed Houthi militants continue to attack commercial ships in what they call revenge for Israel's war against Hamas. Some companies have been forced to suspend shipping through the Red Sea, specifically connecting to the Suez Canal, in an issue that's exaggerated by ships' limited access to another crucial trade route, the Panama Canal. Patrick Opperman has more.
As the Red Sea crisis forces cargo vessels to find alternative shipping routes, environmental threats are limiting the use of the Panama Canal, creating a complicated situation for maritime trade. A severe ongoing drought is causing dangerously low water levels in the canal. Some ocean carriers had chosen to reroute through the Suez Canal, which connects the Mediterranean to the Red Sea, before Houthi attacks on commercial vessels in that region escalated. But now many ships can't rely on either waterway, leading to shipping delays and price hikes.
We have been forced to decrease by 24 vessels a day from the usual 36 or 38 in order to guarantee 44 feet depth, and we will keep this number of vessels until the end of the summer.
The 80-kilometer shipping route connects the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, but uses fresh water from surrounding lakes to fill its many locks. The U.S., China, and Japan frequent the waterway for maritime trade. But an unfavorable combination of El Nino and global warming is hurting the Panama Canal like never before, Espino says. 2023 was the second driest year for the waterway in its 110-year history. Water use mitigation efforts, including treatment plants and saving tanks, have proven not to be enough. El Nino now projected to persist until sometime between April and June, according to the National Weather Service.
We are realizing that in a very, very dry year, these measures are not enough, so we have to look for an additional solution.
One idea, a dam on Rio Indio that would need approval from a government that's now in an election year. A plan that would impact more than 2,000 Rio Indio residents. As a temporary solution, global shipping giant Maersk is using rail transport for some shipments to reduce its footprint through the water route. But until drought no longer plagues the Panama Canal and violence eases in the Red Sea, this perfect storm of maritime trouble has global manufacturers and shipping companies at an impasse. Patrick Ottman, CNN.
That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:47 now on this Thursday morning, and the fog beginning to thicken back up again. This is our camera on the Cornell complex. It's getting denser across the city of Joplin, and it will continue to be dense across the area as well. MoDOT cameras around the metro. You can see some locations, the far east side, still looking okay, but you can see the fog is beginning to get a little thicker out there from some of the other MoDOT cameras. KDOT cameras south of Pittsburgh, it's a little thicker on that fog. Still not quite super dense yet, but again, we're expecting that to change. Visibilities, again, the majority of locations at, or in most cases below, 1 mile of visibility. And as you can see on the highways here, that includes nearly every major highway we have in the area. And we also have the dense fog advisories for Missouri and Kansas through noon again today, Oklahoma, Arkansas through 9 a.m. And with more fog possible this evening and tonight, wouldn't be surprised to see more of those dense fog advisories. Also, take a look at Skywatch Storm Tracker. Rain showing up out there. We are getting some showers across the area. And take a look at development down to our south and west. More showers will be on the way as we go through our day. Our camera 7th and range line, again, it was a little clearer than this about 20 minutes ago, not so much now. We're sitting at 40 in Joplin with a north breeze at about 3 miles an hour. Temperatures around the region, similar trend, off to the northwest, a little cooler. We've got some low mid-30s out there, and as you head further south and east, we get into those mid-upper 30s, even some low 40s. Now, the rain showers we're expecting today, these will continue through about, say, 1 o'clock or so, and then we're going to go mostly cloudy. So some of us may see a few peaks of sunshine today. Not everybody will, but there may be at least a few peaks of sun. Then we're going to pause with the rain as we head through the evening. Unfortunately, we don't pause with the fog, and we'll even pause through most of our Friday. We're going to be a little warmer, still cloudy skies, maybe a few peaks of sun here and there. And then by Friday evening, we're going to see more showers begin to roll into the area. And then as we go into Saturday, yeah, that's snow that's on the future track. And yeah, that's something that is a distinct possibility as we head into our Saturday. But take a look at temperatures associated with the snow as well. They're going to be mild for snow. I know 30s are cold, but they're going to be mild for snow. So what we're expecting between the moisture and the temperatures is we're expecting a heavy, wet snow. So the bad thing is the snow could come down heavy enough at times that could reduce visibilities, and of course it's going to lead to some slick spots on roadways. The good news is, because of the warm weather we've seen and the rainfall, we're not expecting this snow to stick to the roads. We're expecting it to stick to grassy surfaces, though, and the grassy surfaces could pick up an inch or so of snow as we head into Saturday. So through the morning, fog, showers, low 40s by late morning. We head into the afternoon. We're talking highs mid-upper 40s out there. Rain will let up. We'll still be dealing with some patchy fog, and as we head into the evening and overnight, some of it could be dense at times. Cloudy skies, temperatures eventually dropping into the upper 30s and low 40s. For our Friday, ahead of the rain, we're looking at almost mid-50s out there. Right around 40 on Saturday, mid-40s Sunday. But take a look next week. We're up to 60 by next Wednesday with sunny skies and a few additional shower chances next Tuesday. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
You're watching KOAM News Now, home of Super Bowl 58.
For as long as giving back, then add a community-focused lawyer. Add a cause. Include a passion. And voila.
More than 60 dogs found living in 2 cars in Texas. Now rescue organizations are stepping in to rehome the Chihuahuas, including rescues in Rhode Island. Lena Falk reports.
It was pretty nasty. Pretty nasty.
Animal rescue workers describing what they saw in these pictures as heartbreaking and deplorable.
There was no running water. There's no electricity at the home. And then again, neither vehicle worked.
2 weeks ago, workers discovered 63 Chihuahuas living with their owner inside 2 cars in Comanche, Texas.
She tried to put them all in one vehicle with her so she could, keep an eye on them. And then in the other vehicle, She had the others.
Sheena Trahan with Save a Tiny Adoptables says they were only let out a few hours a day, many of them spending their entire lives inside this inoperable pickup in the garage.
If we could not have gotten all these dogs out of there, she would have stayed right there with them and they would have just probably all died in the vehicles together.
Trahan says some of the dogs had fleas, but otherwise appear healthy despite living in filthy conditions without vaccinations or any routine checkups.
And she basically would not leave those dogs until she found a rescue that would take them.
Now in the care of several rescues and shelters across the country, including 2 in Rhode Island. Trahan says Road Home Rescue and Friends of Homeless Animals RI have agreed to take in a few. She says they stepped up, no questions asked.
It was just like, let's figure out logistics. And now we have that, and we actually will start vetting their dogs tomorrow. There's tons of us out here that will do everything within our power to help you. Just give us a chance.
I love Chihuahuas and I have one, but don't worry, he's not in a car. He's actually probably in bed right now sleeping. But those dogs that we saw, they'll be arriving in Rhode Island in the middle of next month. We'll be right back.
From the moment you call until you walk through our doors.
State Obituaries is a service of KOAM News Now and Durfelt Funeral Homes. It's more than a service, it's our ministry.
In case you missed Mercury in retrograde, which ended on New Year's Day, it will happen 3 more times in 2024. During retrograde, the planet closest to the sun appears to travel backwards across the sky, but it's just an illusion. It will happen again from April Fool's Day through April 24th, from August 5th through the 27th, and from November 25th through December 15th. Some people believe when Mercury is in retrograde, it can cause confusion and delays. Expectant parents look forward to the babycenter.com's annual list of the most popular baby names. But what about the names that aren't so popular anymore? According to the Baby Center, girl names that were popular when millennials were being born have been falling off for the past decade. And boy names ending with Aiden, which were popular in the 2000s, are also losing popularity. Girl names most at risk of going extinct this year includes Brooke, Blake, Amanda, and Michelle. And once popular boy names, Julius, Jaden, Johnny, and Bradley could also vanish.
Interesting information. I always find those lists pretty interesting because you never know. My name may go extinct. Your name may go extinct someday. I mean, my wife's name is Amber. It's common at this point.
It's timeless.
But it could potentially go away at some point.
Maybe.
But at the same time, Amber and Chris, honestly, because you have to think of like St. Christopher. So that's a popular name. That's part of where my name came from. Amber is a type of rock.
A gem.
It's a gem. So, well, exactly. So there's some things they've got commonplace. In terms of commonplace as well, fog showers continuing today. Low 40s by late morning. We're going to go mid-upper 40s today. Maybe a few peaks of sunshine out there. Tonight, still foggy. Into the upper 30s, low 40s, and we're going to warm up. We got mid-50s tomorrow, maybe a rain-snow mix Saturday, and 60 by next Wednesday. That's Check Your Forecast. Got a whole nother hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Every Thursday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., play for your chance to win up to $5,000 cash.
Are you or a family member in need of care in the home?